Recording. How's it going, everybody? Reaper31 here, and I'd like to welcome you to my mid-season review of my Manager Mode series here just before the January transfer window on FIFA 15. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're having a nice Friday, as I decided I wanted to do this stream because I wanted to not go over how we've gotten to this point so far in the season and what we need to do to possibly make some changes, but also just to kind of set my main goal is to get my shortlist down to where we can I could start helping getting some picks, looking to pick up some new players for the squad, and I'm hoping I get some interaction from you guys out there as to who I should get. We're going to go through the global transfer network, but also take suggestions as well. If you haven't already, you can follow this series on Twitter at ISUReaper31. I post all my videos on YouTube, so you can go check them out there. I've got 26 episodes up already, and this will be technically episode 27. Once I get it, I'll stream it live here, and I'll record it, and then I'll post it on YouTube later. So, without further ado, let's get into the action. Obviously, if you guys watched the last match, it was a crazy finish there as Newcastle managed to get a crazy free kick goal, and we ended up with another draw. But let's quickly look at the table real quick. As you can see, as we get into January, Chelsea are on top of the league with 44. They're closely followed by Man City. Then we have Tottenham. QPR, which has been a surprise this season, is up in 4th, and Arsenal in 5th. And there's a lot of guys there between 6th and 8th just kind of clipping at the heels. Liverpool, Man U, and Stoke. As you can see, we are currently in the relegation zone. A bit unfortunate, to say the least. We only have had 2 wins. We've had 7 draws and 9 defeats. Just been kind of unfortunate in a lot of those matches to draw them. We missed out on a couple wins, missed out on a couple losses as well. Just trying to find my play with this team. I feel like recently we've been kind of turning the corner a little bit, and hopefully that will do us some good as we get ready to start our next round of fixtures. We still have a game in hand over most people in the ahead of us, so we could potentially make a run. We definitely need to do better than we did the first half of the season. But there you go, there's a look at the table. We are struggling. Yeah, the goal scoring hasn't been there. Our goals against aren't too bad, as you can see. But yeah, we're just not scoring enough goals. We're giving up too many goals. So, we'll take a quick look at just a quick lack of the BPL at this point in the season. Soldado is the top goal scorer behind with Rooney and Austin. Top there, you can see Morales is our leading scorer for the team. He's got 5 goals in the BPL. We head over to assist man. Yaya Toure and Lallana from Liverpool are tied on 5 assists at the top. And if we scroll down, you look at Samuel Eto's our leading assist man with 2. Clean sheets, Cabello for Man City, which is 9. So Tim Hart's not getting a lot of playing time, and Courtois both have 9. Timmy Howard, he's been kind of our main man. He's been our rock in the net. He's only has 3 shutouts, but that's what happens sometimes. Yellow card accumulation. Obviously, Alex Song's been the naughtiest of the naughty, and we don't really have anybody that's in that mix. Red cards, obviously, Diston's got 1. Tompkins has 2 with Livermore and Klein. FA Cup, we haven't played any FA Cup matches, but that's coming up in a couple weeks, I believe. And then you got Capital One. We were out of it. I'm going to go over to the Europa League because that is a competition we are in. And also, if you were curious to see why I have the actual Europa League in the game instead of in like the Budweiser and the sponsors, like the FA, like Budweiser FA Cup, you have to go to moddingway.com, and they have all the mods. They have this moddingway pack that does all that, changes all that stuff. It actually adds some teams as well. It licensed a lot of the international squads. It's added the Brazil League to my career mode, so if you wanted to play the Brazilian League, you can now do that with this mod. So, but it's only for PC. Console users are kind of SOL. So, but enough being said there. We take a look at ours. Let's see if we have anybody. Yep, we have Leighton Baines is our leading goal scorer for us in the Europa League with 3, and I believe those are all penalties. I don't think we'll have anybody on the assist column. Nope. Clean sheets. Timmy's up there in 3rd with 3. He's close. Yellow cards. I don't know if we have anybody. Nope. The Reds. I don't think we had anybody set off in our Europa League match. So there you go. Now, at this point, I was going to look at our squad. And finally, with those last bit of tough draws, we've actually got to pull our morale up. For a while there, when we were on our major losing streak there, and we still kind of are on a losing streak, the form dropped way down low. Like, I had reds across the board for morale. But finally, guys have kind of gotten some morale back, so that's a good sign. We have, we'll just sort by position here. Obviously, we'll start in the back of the net with old Timmy Howard. Tim has been very good for us this season. He's been on excellent form pretty much since the start of the season. As you can see, he's played 24 matches with 6 clean sheets, and his average is at 7.7. Pretty happy with Tim. He's gone up by 3. You know, he's 35, so he's pushing that age limit pretty hard. He's growing quite well, so that's a good sign for us. One of the targets that early in the season was we needed another goalkeeper, and that was because of Robles. He's only a 70. He hasn't grown yet. He's only played 1 match. He played the Capital One Cup. I was going to try to get him into Europa League matches, but the way the results fell, and I had to keep Tim in net. But Robles, he'll probably get a go in the FA Cup in our next match there. I'm thinking about playing him there. He's got a 6.3, so he's not terrible, but he's not doing too good. Connor Hunt is a individual that he was out on loan, and he came back just this past month from loan. So he's probably going to be one, and I'm actually going to do that right here in front of you guys. I'm going to send him out on a season on loan because we're not going to use him. And he's just our 4th goalkeeper, so let's see if we can get him growing. So we'll just send him out on loan for the season. You see, happy. I like happy. Stanek is our 3rd goalkeeper, and I may send him out on loan as well. But I'm only going to send him out if I get another goalkeeper, if I pick one up here in this transfer window, which the board wants me to, so I probably will send him out on loan eventually, but I won't do it right now because I want to keep him as my 3rd string. Alright, Seamus Coleman. He's our number 1 right back for the season. He did get a little bit injured there in November. He was out for about a month, which has been unfortunate. You can see he's played 20 matches. He's got 2 assists and 4 clean sheets. He's averaging around 6.4, which isn't terrible, but it's not spectacular. He hasn't grown at all, which is a bit concerning to me at 26 with the amount of playing time he's gotten. But he is our clear number 1 right back. It could be a position I might be looking to strengthen eventually. I don't know if I'll do it this window or in the summer. Tommy Hibbert, the old boy at 33, he's played 6 matches, obviously, because of the injury to Coleman. earlier in the year. The only knock I have about Hibbert, he is very slow. Uh, you look at his speed, his acceleration has already gone down to 50. He's lost 4 points. I mean, his physical stats are starting to go down. So he may be one to get ready to sell, but I think he's good contract-wise for another year. So he's definitely going to be a depth player. I not really too thrilled about playing him, but he's a good guy on the bench to have on the wings in case one of my fullbacks gets hurt. Okay. So now we'll move on to the center back. Sylvan Diston, obviously going to retire at the end of this year. And he's 37, so he's quite old. Again, he's played 7 matches, only had 1 clean sheet and a red. He's at average about 5.5. Diston came into the year as my number 1 or my number 2 center back on my depth chart but early in the year he got injured early in the year and he wasn't playing very well the first month of the season. So, but that injury kind of set him back a little bit, and he hasn't been able to break back into the team until I believe the last match he played, because I had so many matches back to back. So he got some playing time last match. Like I said, he's only played 5 BPL matches, but he's starting to go down again. You can see his physical stats are starting to dwindle. So it's about time for him to retire. And I mean, he's a big guy, but it may be something for the future to consider, maybe getting another center back for depth. Jagielka, the captain, is morale's finally happy. He's been kind of dwindling a little bit, but he's played 23 matches. He didn't play the last match because of fatigue. He's got 1 assist, 6 clean sheets, and a yellow. He's averaging 6.3. Not bad. He's got okay form, but obviously he's a pretty key. He's our number 1 center back for obvious reasons. You know, he is a bit old, but 32, but he's still got some miles left. He isn't dropping any. I don't expect him to grow much more, but I hope he doesn't drop too much this season. If he stays at 79, that's what I need from him. But obviously, I'm not going to look to replace him. He's one of our best defenders. Now, Alcaraz came on pretty good at the beginning of the year in the preseason. I believe he started the first match. He was originally my 3rd choice for center back, but he started the first match, but he ended up getting hurt, and so that's why he's only played 5 matches at a 6.1. I like his size, but like I said, again, he's another one that's old. Give me just a second, guys. But yeah, Alcaraz's contract was up this year, but since Diston's retiring, I gave him an extension, a year extension. He has got quite a bit of money on the books, but nothing too critical right now. I think we have enough wage to cover any new players coming in, and really he's mainly going to be a depth. He's only a squad rotation player by default, so just renewing his contract was pretty obvious choice. He's a good guy to have, and right now he's sitting at like 3rd in the depth chart, or 4th, I should say. But we may use him a little bit more, like in the Capital and in our FA Cup run. But he is on bad form at 6.1 because he just hasn't had a lot of game time. John Stones. I've been really impressed with John Stones. He's got great potential. He's a youngster. He's gone up by 1 to 74. Originally, I think he was the 4th center back in my depth chart to start the year. And I was kind of worried I wasn't getting much playing time because the older guys were ahead of him. But with injuries, he managed to get into the starting squad, and he did pretty well. I mean, he's on a 6.3 in 14 matches. He's got 3 clean sheets and a yellow, but that match against, I believe it was Hull City 2 matches ago. He took a knock, he took a shoulder injury, and he's been out. He's gonna be out for. He's now out for. He's will be back for 7 weeks, so we might not see him till February. I'm really hoping he gets well quick. I think we have enough depth to cover his loss, but he's big. He's a big guy, very good. His mentality's going up, which is great. He's a very. I like him as a defender. He brings that size. Jack Yelk is a good, solid defender, but he doesn't have the size. Stones can pretty much match with any taller guys, and he's young, and so he's only going to get better. So he's definitely going to be, I think, one of our main stalls in the back for a long time. But since his injury, he's not going to be available to go. So, which is good news for me. Browning. Again, one of our another young center back we've called up. He's 20 years old. He got his BPL debut not too long ago. And he played pretty decent at 6'5" that game. So he's averaging 6'4", so his form's okay. Youngster, I'm going to keep around. He's a depth player right now with all the veterans we have. But for the future, hopefully he keeps on growing. He's still got a ways to go before he can crack into the starting lineup on a regular basis, but I could see him being a depth player for a good couple more years. All right. Finishing off the D, we have the left backs. Leighton Baines. What can you say about Leighton Baines? He's a stud. The dude's... I mean, it's a shame I haven't been able to get a nice free kick goal from him, but he's scored a lot of penalties. As you see, 20 matches, he's got 7 goals. All those are penalties. Because we were on a run there where the only way we were scoring was on penalties. He's been clutch in the Europa League getting goals. He's been a solid defender. Excellent form, 6.6, very happy. Although he did take a knock there in November, and he's just starting to get back from that. And I definitely missed him in the left back position. He played very well. 30 years old, so age is starting to creep up on him. But I don't see him leaving the club anytime soon. He's probably one of our most consistent defenders, and he's good on the attack as well. Brendan Galloway, he only played 1 match so far this season, but he played well He came in during when Leighton Baines got hurt for one of the matches, and the 18-year-old youngster, 62, pretty solid first match. He's growing quite well at 18. He's got a lot of room to grow, which is great. He's just been at the club this year, so this is his first year from the club. I assume we brought him up from the academy. So he's looking like a very good, solid backup, and potential maybe a starter when Baines starts to tail off, but for now he's going to be kind of sitting in the reserves, just trying to honing his craft. Now Brian Oviedo, he was originally my number 2 left back as the season started. He's on okay form. He didn't do well in the Capital One Cup match, but he did play pretty well in his 1 BPL match, got an assist. And he's one of those guys that can play on the left mid as well. So we got some depth on the left side. I like him. He's pretty good. But like I said, I haven't had a lot of use for him in the squad because, Baines is kind of the primary guy on the left side. But he's a good backup. 24, though. He hasn't grown yet, so that is a bit worrying. It's a little bit worrying when the youngsters aren't growing. Potentially, maybe he might be looking to go elsewhere down the road, but for now, I like him. We'll just keep him. Luke Garbutt. He came on there when Baines got injured, and he has played phenomenal. His 2 BPL matches, he's averaged 7.7. Europa League, he's played a couple of Europa League matches as well, played very well. He's been a big surprise, this youngster, and he's only gone up by 1 just because he hadn't had a lot of game time. It's hard for him to break through, But either on the left back or the left mid, because he's another one like Oviedo. Really good. Really, really good. He just needs to grow more. He just needs to get more experience. Loan spell's not out of the question for him at this point. It might be beneficial for me to send him out on loan. I'm still kind of up in the air about it. I mean, we have quite a bit of depth at left back right now, but like I said, the games he's played, he's impressed me quite a bit. So but his contract is going up or coming up this 7 months. But since he's not 23 yet, I don't have to worry about him signing him right away. So I can kind of keep him. I don't have to sign him until the end of the year, but I'll definitely probably re-sign him. He's definitely earned his keep on the squad. All right, moving out from the backs, from the defensive backs, we're moving to the CDMs. And James McCarthy. McCarthy's been one of our stalwarts in the midfield. He's got 20 matches, 1 assist, 3 clean sheets, 4 yellows. I think he's been our most penalized player for the year. And 6, he's on an average of 6. He's gone up by 1. He's still young. He's 24. We're 13 million, so he could be fetching some offers this year. I have a feeling because we're going to get quite a few offers for him. Right now, I don't want to lose him because right now I believe he's our top CDM at this moment on my depth chart. Very solid defender. He does well tackling the ball. He's been pretty good. Like I said, he's another one that got injured there while we were starting our losing run, which was a bit unfortunate. But all in all, I like what he brings to the table. I think he's solid, and we're going to keep him around. Now, Gareth Barry, one of the guys that was signed at the beginning of the year from Man City for $8 million. He's starting to go down a little bit. He's only 79 now from at 80. He was originally the number 1 CDM, but I kind of play him and McCarthy to kind of shore up that midfield. 23 matches, 1 goal. I believe that goal was very early in the year. 3 clean sheets, 2 yellows. I average 6. He hasn't played well in the Europa League matches. My biggest problem with Barry is his fatigue. Stamina-wise, if you take a look at his stats here, stamina 79. It's not the greatest. He seems to get very tired out there in the midfield, especially where we're playing. He's having to chase and run back and defend, but I'm not too disappointed in Barry. He does pretty solid for me when he's back there. Like I said, the stamina thing's a bit of a concern for me. I mean, he is getting up there in age, so I don't know how much longer he's going to stick around. He might see out his contract, then he'll probably have to go. We'll see. Besic, the youngster. Here's another guy that I have not gotten a lot of game time out of because he hasn't grown much. He's only had 5 matches, 1 clean sheet, 1 yellow, 5.9. His form hasn't been the greatest. He's okay right now, but he's a good depth player to have on the squad. Like I said, I need to get him more involved in the squad. But with McCarthy and Barry back healthy, I don't know how much game time he's actually going to get. We'll see, as he might be another one I might try to get him some FA Cup time, and hopefully we can advance in the competition instead of getting knocked out in the first round. On the right side, Kevin Morales. This guy has been a stud for me this year. He's our leading goal scorer with 7. I think he's tied with Baines. But 24 matches, 7 goals, 6 clean sheets, 1 yellow, and he's on average of 6.3. The guy is a very good winger. Whether I play him up at his normal position or move him up to the wing, he's been very good at getting behind the ball and getting those shots off. He's had some great goals, and he's really kind of helped us out, keeping us afloat. His form's been kind of wavering because other players have been kind of stepping up and taking some some goals. But he's definitely our number one right winger, right wide player, or whatever you want to call him. Definitely very good for the squad. I don't see him. Hopefully he grows a little bit more, but we'll see. Yeah, he hasn't grown at all in any categories, but he's been very good when he is on the ball. He's a very good defender, very good on the offensive end. So, what can I say about the Belgian? He's good. Now, Adrian McGady, another youngster, a little bit younger than Morales, I believe. Or no, he's older, sorry. 13 matches, hasn't done much. He's been mostly coming off the bench for us. Although his form right now is bad because he just hasn't been able to make any impacts coming off the bench. Been kind of using him as a substitute wide midfielder. He is growing, which is good, but just haven't been able to get the most out of him yet this year. So hopefully, maybe in the second half, he can come off as more solid off the bench, because that's where he's going to be. With the way Morales has played this year, it's hard for him to get any starting game time, but he's been coming off the bench pretty regularly, so he's getting a lot of playing time. But like I said, we need to get his form back up and hopefully get him a little bit more involved in the action. Now to our midfielders. Darren Gibson. He's gone up by 1. He's only played 9 matches, and he's only averaging 5.7. He has been on bad form pretty much all year. And he's been probably the most vocal about not getting any playing time. You can see he is unhappy. He's unhappy that he's not getting a lot of playing time. Just a quick look at his stats. You can see his technical stats are going up. He's a player that he's a depth player right now. Just because, we've got McCarthy, Barry, and Barclay as a cam. Those 3 are kind of my top 3 midfielders so far. And Gibson kind of falls in that 4. He's kind of number 4 in that midfield depth chart. And, the games he has played, he just hasn't had good matches. It's not playing well. I know I transferred him one time, but I think I forgot to save it. So he's asked for his transfer, and at $7.5 million, I think we can get some good money from him, and maybe find a decent replacement. Let's just take a look to see how many years he's got left on his contract. Okay, he's got another, he's got a year and a half on his contract. He's an important first-team player. He's got a lot of money. I'm afraid he's probably going to have to go because he's not going to get any happier by not getting any playing time. So we're going to go ahead and add Gibson to the transfer list. Yeah, I like him as a depth player, but I don't think he's a starter. He just doesn't have enough. He's got room to improve, but he's kind of at that point of his career where if he's not playing regularly, he's not going to grow very much. So we'll go ahead and transfer list him because he's just not getting the playing time. I was going to use him more in the FA Cup, but maybe some youngsters will get some better opportunities. Francisco Jr. This guy. He's very happy, even though he's on poor form. He's only played 4 matches, but he does have a goal this season. It was in a Europa League match, and it was a fantastic goal. Although he's very short, he's very quick, but he's good on the ball too. So one of our youngster midfielders that I could see being a nice depth player from here on out. I don't think he's going to be out on loan this year because I kind of need him at depth, especially if Gibson goes. But if we bring in another central midfield player to replace Gibson, then we may have to consider sending him out on loan. because he's not going to get a lot of game time. He's a little too low on the depth chart. But, well, he's going to be a future consideration for loan because he is still young, so getting some more playing time would be good for him. Ryan Ledson, again, a very young player. He got his BPL debut not too long ago and actually played fantastic at a 7. He was playing very well. I was very impressed with him. I think he's going to be one of our midfielders of the future for the squad. Loan spell probably is going to be in the cards for him because he is quite low in the depth chart. Especially now that all my starters, midfielders are back, kind of healthy. But if we get in trouble again, then maybe we might. I think he's going to be a potential loan player. I'll have to think about it some more, but it really kind of depends on the Gibson sale before I actually send him out on loan. Another guy, Lee Osman. His contract came up this year, and he's only played 5 games. And again, he's kind of the same with Gibson. He just hasn't played well. And I know he's a good player, but his physical stats are starting to go down. Right now, I re-signed him because his contract was up this year. I did re-sign him because he is a one-team player, one-club player. So I actually lessened his role. I moved him to a squad rotation player. And yeah, he is disappointed with his lack of matches, obviously. But we demoted him a little bit not because of age, mostly because of age, and he's just, he's like 5th on my depth chart right now. He's not going to get a lot of time off the bench. But he's going to be one who's probably going to be in the FA Cup squad, trying to lead that team there. Probably be maybe one of the captains. I haven't decided yet. But I'm going to keep him around. I don't know, unless we get a really good offer for him, I don't see him going. I kind of want to keep him as a depth player now that he's accepted a lesser role with the team. So he wants to stay here, which is a good sign. I kind of want guys that want to stay here and get some playing time. Unlike Gibson. Gibson's a lot younger, so he still can grow and be a better player, but Osman definitely going to be a rotational player at this point in his career. I'll try to get him in some more matches, but we'll see. Lundstrom, he's out on loan still at Blackpool. He's growing quite nicely. Just looking. Yeah, I'm thinking Ledson's probably going to go out on loan for the second half of the season, but yeah, well, it's all going to hinge on Darren Gibson's leaving the squad. But if Gibson leaves, then Osman's going to step up and kind of be that midfielder, unless we bring in a really good midfielder to replace him. All right, Steven Pienaar, the left mid. He's been our number 1 pretty much all year on the left side. 22 matches, 1 assist, 4 clean sheets, yellow, and he's averaging 6, so he's on okay form. Pienaar, with Morales getting so much of the attention, Pienaar's been kind of overlooked on the left side, especially with Baines behind him. He kind of gets overlooked. He's got good speed still for an older guy. I mean, his speed's not too bad. I mean, it is dropping quite rapidly. He's probably going to be one of the guys we're going to sell, maybe not this window, but maybe the next summer if I'm still around. But I've liked the way he's played. I thought he's played pretty solid, just hasn't been able to get on the goal sheet at all this year. I know he's capable of it, he hasn't had as good a chance as Morales has had this year. But solid number 1. He's going to stay number 1. Here we go, Ross. Now I'm moving on to the cam of Ross Barkley. Ross Barkley, as you can see, he's 21, so he's very young. Potential to the roof. I expect a lot of offers for him this transfer window, especially since he has not played well for the squad. He's only grown up by one. He's played 21 matches, has 1 goal, 2 assists. To me, he's been kind of a disappointment because I need him to be that kind of central playmaker type player for my squad since we have so many good strikers right now, highly rated strikers. But he was starting to show some flashes of brilliance the last match. He was getting a lot of good chances, just hasn't put any away just yet. Probably looking to get a bit more involved, but I've been playing him like crazy, but he just hasn't done the deed for me. He needs to be a bit more of a bigger part of the squad, especially on the attacking side. But other than that, he's still going to be one of the top midfielders to be picked. But we'll see. Maybe if we bring in another midfielder, he could be relegated to the bench. He has been on the bench quite a bit too, but he is one of our better players, so he's going to get the playing time. But we'll see what January brings. I have a feeling he's going to get some offers thrown his way. All right, the strikers. Romelu Lukaku, the Chelsea man that we've got for $33.5 million. Spent a lot of money on him, and he's been he had a rough start to the year. He was originally number 2 on my depth chart. He's kind of pulled his way out of it. He's had 22 matches, 4 goals, 2 assists, 4 clean sheets, 2 yellows, and a 6.10. Lukaku is Lukaku. He's a big Belgian. He's strong, and he's very good. We just haven't been able to get him the right amount of service to him. And it's a little disappointing, but the goals he has scored, they've been quite good. He's been pretty good for us coming off the bench, which is probably most of his playing time has been off the bench. But I think now right now he's currently my top striker in my depth chart. Whether he's playing up top by himself or I have either Eto'o or Kone beside him, he's done pretty well. Just we need to get more goals out of him for the amount of money we paid for him in the summer. He needs to be scoring more. He needs to be more of a threat. But I think more of our problem is just getting our midfield getting solid enough, getting that playmaker that can give him some better service. But he started turning around there later in the year and got some goals finally. For a while there, he was on a goalless streak as well. But Lukaku, he should be a good cornerstone of the team, and he's young too. He's only 21, so he's going to be good for this year. But maybe next year we'll probably be getting a lot more offers for him. But I don't see him going anytime soon. Aruna Kone, the man that is on fire right now for us. When I started the year, he was number 4 on my depth chart, and just the way the strikers began the year, where all of my strikers seem to be on terrible form. He's played 11 matches. In his last 2, he scored a goal, and he's probably could have scored a lot more. He's been very lethal these last couple matches, and that's why his form is so good right now. Like I said, the matches he has played in the Europa League and Capital One Cup, he hasn't been quite there yet. He's been good when I played the 2 back, put him alongside either Eto'o or Lukaku. He's been pretty lethal. I believe he's the next Wigan player, but very solid. But like I said, he's not going to grow much anymore. I can see him starting to dwindle, and he's one of the players where I thought at the beginning of this year he may go in next summer. But if he continues on the form he's on and keeps playing well and getting goals, then I got no excuse but to keep him in the squad. Samuel Eto'o. What can I say about him? We got him from Chelsea for $12.5 million. And what a disappointment. He's played 12 matches. He hasn't had a goal yet. He's got 2 assists. He's on a 6. Samuel Eto'o, like I said, originally was my number 1 striker. just barely ahead of Lukaku, and they've been kind of going back and forth. I believe he did. I think he did get injured for a little bit. I could be mistaken by that, but like I said, he's insecure right now because he's just not scoring any goals. And yeah, his age is another concern. He is quite old, so he's losing a couple steps, but he's still growing. He hasn't lost a step yet. He's still growing at 33, which is crazy to me. I don't think I've ever seen a guy 33 get better, technically. And he hasn't lost a step. It's just been a bit unfortunate. Again, I have to put it down to we're just not getting the service to him like we like. Just haven't found the right fit for him. I think if we could ever get him a goal, then he's going to take off. But we just haven't seen what Eto could do yet. He's got the skills, he's got the talent, but he's just not scoring. And we'll hopefully with Kone and Lukaku, help push him a little bit. Maybe we can get him a goal, but we'll see. But he's been on bad form pretty much all year, and until we get him a goal, he's not gonna. I don't see that changing, but he's gonna stick around at least for this year. Maybe I'll just start really thinking about it. But if he's still growing, then it's gonna be hard for me to get rid of him. Chris Long hasn't played any matches. Youngster, he's grown by 2. He's gonna stay down there in the reserves. He may be a potential loan candidate again. Maybe build him up a little more. But 19, pretty young. Courtney Dreyfus. Duffus, sorry. Another youngster, hasn't grown at all. Haven't used him because he's just not good quality yet. He's young. He needs to grow. So he's definitely probably going to be a loanee this season. Connor McKaylee had 2 matches this year because I think he was number 5 on my depth chart, but I started playing him because of my strikers. I was trying to find a striker that was going to step up, and he played 2 matches. Unfortunately, he had a shoulder injury, and he's been out for quite a while. I like what he brings. Like I said, he's still not growing yet, but I don't know. He probably won't go on loan because we got a lot of other young strikers that are behind him that aren't getting any playing time, and he's definitely not going to get any playing time, I don't think. So, unless his form turns around, but he may take a FA Cup run. Stephen Naismith, another striker I've been disappointed in. 12 games, no goals. He's been a bench guy pretty much all year. I've given him a couple starts here and there, but I know what he's capable of. He's a very good player, and he's not too old. He's getting up there, but he's 28, so he's still got room to grow. He just hasn't grown any yet because he hasn't got much playing time. At least he's happy. That's a good thing, but we need to get his form back up. So he's definitely going to be playing in the FA Cup. I have a feeling, because right now he's number 4 on my depth chart. He was 3rd, but he's a good player. He can play on the right side or the cam position, so he's a very important player as far as rotational player. But I know he's a starter, and we need to get him. I need to get him some better opportunities to play. Like I said, I think our biggest obstacle has been our playmaking in the midfield. Helen Helps, grown by 2 at Sheffield Wednesday, lonely player, but we'll probably look to loan some more strikers. Now we'll take a look at the left winger of Christian Atsu. I believe that's our last player. Yep, that's the last player we're going to look at. He's been our number 2 left winger, left mid, wherever you want to play him. He's played 10 matches, 2 assists. I really like him. He has got a ton of pace. He just has not played very well. Him and Pienaar have been kind of bouncing back and forth, alternating starts. Atsu is definitely going to be one player I'm going to look to bring in once his loan spell's up. So next summer, I'm going to try to get him again because he brings that pace. And besides, everybody knows that Everton likes to pick off Chelsea players that aren't playing. I just don't see him. He still hasn't grown. So I think if we can at least get him into the squad, will be good for him. But We may have to just settle for a loan. Depends on how our finances fall at the end of the year. So that's it. Like I said, it's a little unfortunate he hasn't scored a goal yet, but he's got potential to be good too, I think. But he's, like I said, a lone player. So, with that, that is our squad for the year. I won't show you the youth squad. You can see, I am the right man for the job. The board, even though we've had such a poor run in the league, the board still has my back. And we'll just take a quick look real quick at what's in store for the next couple months. Obviously, we have Hull in our away fixture. I'm definitely gonna be looking to get revenge against Hull. Need to beat them soundly. Then we have Southampton. Then we have Ipswich Town in our third round match of the FA Cup. We're on the road. Probably gonna see some new guys playing. I think hopefully we can pull out a win, but this cup, I want to make a good run in the FA Cup. Disappointment with the Capital One Cup, not getting through, getting knocked out was very disappointing. So I'm gonna try to focus my effort on the FA Cup, make a run. Then we have West Brom at home. They beat us pretty soundly in their first match. And then we have Man City, who demolished us in the Etihad, but they're going to come home to Goodison Park, and hopefully we can take some revenge. I mean, that game was I was trying some different tactics against them, and I had kind of a makeshift lineup with the injuries. It just kind of fell in a bad place, and we gave up 5 goals. Hopefully we can remedy that and get some goals scored, because we could definitely score on them, but we just need to be a little bit more solid in the back. Then Crystal Palace, again, I think that was a draw, if I recall. We can go look back here. Crystal Palace. Where did you go, Crystal Palace? Oh, way back in September. Yeah, we drew 2-2. So that's what January's gonna look like. And then February, our Europa League match, our round of 32 match against Bilbao, because apparently they won their group, we didn't, so we get to play them. I think we could win. We could do well. I think we got a decent draw. But we'll see when we get to that match. I mean, we were gonna have some tough games coming up. We'll have Man City, Liverpool, and Chelsea before that. So. And then you see we do have some internationals, so later in the year in March we'll get some more Euro qualifying with Sweden, since I signed with them. And it's gonna be a while before I have a match, so hopefully I'm still around with Everton by then. Like, that is my big concern. I want to pull this team. I think realistically at the beginning of the year they wanted me to finish top 5, but unless I go on a tear, I don't see that happening. So I think mid-table is probably going to be the best result, and just making a run at the Europa League. So we shall see. Is it time for transfers? Well, before I get to the transfers, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, guys. So just stay tuned, and hope you're enjoying the episode so far, and I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so now we are getting ready to go through my short list of players. As you remember, I spent a lot of my transfer budget to start the year buying extra scouts. I think I bought then 3 more, or 2 more, I can't remember. No, 3. I bought these 3 down here. And yeah, without the exception of Joe here, I've had spent quite a bit of money. So most of my money's gone. Let's show. You see, we have 3.974, so almost 4 mil for transfers. We got an additional boost thanks to the Europa League. We still have 2,300 wage to spend, so that's a good thing. So we have the budget to mess around with. The big thing about this transfer window is we're not going to be able to get players that are, we're not going to be able to go out there and get a top name player this go around. We're going to have to sell some players, obviously, and then send some people out on loan if we need to. But I think I'm going to focus this window on improving the squad through loans, or focusing on next year getting some guys that are contracts running out that I can get on the cheap for free, because that way we can save money that way. Let's go into the transfer network. So basically I had guys, and I had them jumping around, but I had them go back to where they originally started. If I go to the right menu. Okay, George Wright stayed in England. I never moved him. Moved Carl back to Italy. I've got Spain, Germany, Brazil, and France. Okay, those are the 6 leagues I'm going to scout this period. You see, we don't have we have a small pool to choose from, not a huge pool. I mean, we're still scouting players, but we found a lot, but a lot of them are a little updated. So here's the 3 instructions that were set at the beginning of the year. I didn't set them. They were set by the assistant manager, we'll say, or the board. They want us to get a pacey, prolific striker, which I kind of agree and kind of disagree at the same time, because we already have about 3 or 4 good strikers right now. Like 3 or 4 strikers that can be first team or off the bench on any squad. Like Lukaku could start for any club, and so could Eto'o. Kone's a solid guy off the bench who can actually play up top on a smaller club. Naismith, when he's ever get his form back, he can play well. So I don't know. I think for the striker, we're probably going to go for a more younger striker. Looking probably just someone to bring in, extra pace, So I'm okay with looking for a striker. Looking for a free kick specialist on the first team quality. And since Gibson's leaving, I think I want to focus more on the midfield area, because I feel like that's where I'm losing a lot of my build-up. Attacking's okay. I mean, yeah, we're not getting goals, but I mean we've got a lot of good players playing up top. In the midfield, we've got a solid core, but I think we could improve it with some midfielders. Maybe give us better options, better formations to choose from. Defense, fullbacks are okay. Center backs are good. I think we're good. We've got a good base, but we'll see what we scouted there. Like I think Yaya Toure is, I think, one that got scouted for that position. He would be a great pickup, but there's no way we're going to get him. Maybe. The big thing the board wanted me to get was a goalkeeper. Now, Tim Howard has been the man, and he's still the man. He's 85 overall. I really don't want to get another first-team goalkeeper. I kind of want, but I understand, because Robles as the backup's just not good enough. So I'm looking to get a goalkeeper who's going to play number 2 behind Howard. Just in case Howard gets hurt, we'll have a competent backup. And plus Tim's getting old, so I'm looking for less than 30, but not too old. Maybe we'll go for an older player if he's a little bit, like maybe somebody like Peter Cech, maybe. Somebody that's really old, who's number 2 at Chelsea, but he's not going to get much playing time because of Courtois, because Courtois is so good in this game. Someone on those lines, or we could go for a very young keeper. It could be where I might pick him up for next year. That could be one I can get for free transfer. Let's see, but I think we want to focus on loans. So first, let's look at the goalkeepers. We're just gonna go through here, check them out. Got a couple we're still scouting, but we'll start right at the top and just work our way down the list. Quite boring. 27, he looks kind of promising. 78 would be a good pickup. He's got great reflexes, which is always good to have. His positioning is not bad either. But I think, well, I just want to try to, this is where I'm trying to narrow down my short list. Maybe get a couple guys from each category and then go from there. Kosi again, he's 77 overall. He's actually quite good. He would be an interesting pickup. He's only 3.2, but wages isn't a problem. He would definitely be a solid backup. Now, whether I can get him to come to Everton is another thing. But 77 with contract expiring, that's a very good sign. We could get him on the cheap. Carasso, 80 overall. Wow, he'd be great, but he is quite old, 33. Same with like Saga, he's old. I don't know if I really want to go the old route. I prefer to get a young keeper, but I don't know how much I'm going to pay. Felipe, getting, oh, he's not ready yet. Yeah, some of these guys we haven't got fully scouted yet, so I can't pick them. Guys, I don't know. Alright, Steven Ulrich from Germany, from Stuttgart. He looks pretty good. 79, 10.5 mil. Yeah, not going to be Manuel Neuer. The best keeper in the game. But at 90 overall and 84 million, there's no way in heck we're going to get Manuel Neuer. Iker Casillas, possibility, but he's worth a lot of money, so we're probably going to pass. Andrea Castellani from Sassuolo Calico in Italy. 10 mil. So, like, I'm looking around the 10 mil. It's looking like the 10 mil range for these keepers. Antonio Morante, 9 mil. He's definitely somebody I could be interested in, just because, you know, his deal's expiring. He could be a decent backup to Tim. Although I prefer to get one this year. Okay, here we go. Anthony Lopez, 24, very young. 77 overall. Oof. That is tempting. 24 to 77, and look at his this guy looks good from Leonidas. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Ron Robert Zeller, 20, another young goalkeeper. 10 mil. Yeah, he's going to be a bit out of our range. Diogo Bengalo, 13 mil. Yeah. I'm thinking more in the range because 85, Tim's 85 and Robles is 70, so I want something in between, like in around a 75 to 80 range. I mean, a 75 probably would be as low as I'm willing to go for a keeper. 83, yeah, no way. I mean, we get a lot of good keepers. Tim Krul, be a good backup, but yeah, he's a starter in the BPL. It'd be hard to get over. Leno, 80. Wow, he'd be great pickup, but not gonna be able to afford him. Kevin Trapp, 14. Yeah. I mean, I like the young goalkeepers, but 10.5 million just too much for 78, 82. Ugh. Begovic from Stoke. Ben Foster. He'd be a good pickup. He's not too bad, but we're not gonna be able to afford him. Hugo Lloris, there's no way in heck we can afford him. 28.5, yeah. Tottenham's not gonna give him a. Chesney. Yeah, again, it's just not worth it. Lindegaard, 6.5 million, and I believe he's their better goalie right now. He would be a great backup to Tim. But can we afford? I don't know if we can afford that. Joe Hart, Now, Joe Hart's interesting. He's usually the number one, but he's been kind of outplayed this year. I don't think Man City's going to want some money for him, so I'm probably going to pass. De Gea, we know he's good. He's not getting a lot of playing time. Now, Petr Cech. Well, he's only 32, which I believe is younger than Howard. 85 at 23.5 million. Good God, man. Give me somebody cheap. Guzan would be a good backup. We can have American keepers on this team. But Villa's probably going to want some good money for their starter. Courtois, yeah, no way in heck. Okay, that's it. So looking at these, I think the best way to go is to pick up a keeper. Yeah, 3.2 is. Oksana would be a decent backup. I think, again, looking for players that have 1 year left on the deal would be key. We could probably get him very cheap, maybe $1 million. Get him over here. Because if we can't get him on cheap, then we'll, we could sign him for just next season for depth play. Who's the other one? Was it Ulrich? Nope. Neuer? Nope. Kasani? Nope. Too much. Antonio Morante would be a great pickup. I don't know how cheap they'd sell him, though. I really don't know how cheap they're willing to go for him. We'll go ahead and add him to the list. So I think January is a good time to pick up guys on the last year of their deal. So Oksana I'm going to pick up, even though he's a bit older. But still, he'd be a decent backup. All the rest of these guys, let's take a look. Let's see if these guys at the club, leader, man, expiring 7 months. Oh, we got a couple guys here. Orazio. I might sign one of these two guys. They might be, 27 would be a good backup for the Corinthians keeper. We had a couple options. Nothing's gonna jump out at you. We just don't have the funds for it to buy them straight up. So we'll scout those two for now and wait for the other ones to get scouted. All right. I definitely would prefer to look for a guy that's wanting to play in the midfield. But we'll go through here. Cesar, no, he's not ready yet. Not ready yet. Just kind of looking here to see if we have anybody. Yeah, Rodriguez, too much money. Alex, ooh. Alex from Cordoba. Looks good, but have to wait for the scouting report to get back on him. 6 mil. Okay, Rafael van der Vaart, 31. He would definitely start for my squad, but we could probably get away with wage. But yeah, I don't know. From Hamburg, that's a lot of money. Honda, yeah, no way we could afford Honda. Hernandez, good potential, young, or somewhat young. Yeah, we may have to get an older player, I think, because, like I said, transfers are just not good right now. Or maybe find a player that we can get on loan. Antonio Di Natale, a striker. I don't really need one. He'd be just goodbye. I mean, we got a lot of Robin. 72 million. Are you fucking kidding me? Ooh, Janik. 3. Yeah, he'd be nice, but nope. Christian Eriksen. Yeah, no way. Tottenham's gonna sell him. Yaya Toure. Jeez Louise. A lot of money. So right now, it looks like it's more leaning towards getting older players. I won't add him to the list until he's done scouting. We'll add Van der Vaart because we could get him. He'd be a good one to get as his contract's expiring. Give us more depth at the cam position because we definitely need somebody like that at the cam position. So I'm gonna go ahead and add him. Honda, nope. Treasures. He'd be a good replacement. He'd be kind of a swap for Gibson. We could probably get him a bit cheaper, but he's not going to last much longer. But we'll go ahead and add him to our short list. A little bit older. He's probably the oldest one we can pick up, but Martins, no. Di Natale, I don't need a striker from this group. So, okay. Now we'll go through our strikers. Here I want to look for youth. I want a young player. Kind of a guy who could play that fourth. He'd be a lone player, okay. Yeah, I think I'd be looking for a lone player here. Is that something special? Is that something special? Pacino, yeah, no way. He might be interested, we'll see. Expiring 7 months, dang it. We got a lot of guys we need to scout. Kajic, no. 0.5. Yeah, he's too old. Good, okay. From Red Bull Leipzig. 1.2. That would be a young player, but Giovanni Dos Santos. Yeah, right. The Villarreal striker. Be able to pick up Giuseppe Rossi. He was pretty good against us in the Europa League, but just can't afford that wage right now. Okay, here we go. Iteki Uche, 78. Overall 10 mil. We'll see how cheap we can get him. 7 mil. Mbaku. Great speed, I like it. But can we sign him though? 0.5, not bad. Like I said, I really like, Benzema, no way. Tevez, yeah, no way. Braithwaite, he could be decent, but I don't know. Ide. Ide would be a great one, but I don't know if we could afford that. Yata, yeah. Like I said, I want to focus on a. Okay, here we go. Bahibek would 2,040,000. I would definitely be interested in picking him up on loan. Strengthen our striker core. Dico, yeah. Some of these guys aren't. Wow, he's only 1.2 at 10 mil. Yeah, we'll keep that in mind. Bernino, Yeah. Some of these guys would be very interesting pickups. Okay, Danny Ings, 22. He's at Burnley right now. We could be interested in Danny Ings. He wouldn't start for us, but I'll be able to get him on the cheap, so I'm gonna Gale. Okay. Maku. There's a lot of good strikers we could pick up, I think. We got a lot of options. Alright, let's take a look at how the short list looks now. Added a few guys. Okay. So, we've got this guy, Yuri Lodgin from... I don't want him. Remove. He doesn't belong on my short list. Okay, here we go. Got Antonio Minate, 78, goalkeeper from Parma. He could be a good backup. I'm going to see if I can get him on the cheap. Again, a Saga. He's a lot cheaper, but a bit older. I think I'd be willing to give him like a backup. He'd be probably perfect for a backup spot. Tresores, the Spanish guy from Real Valenciano. He'd be a good one to replace Gibson, who's leaving. Although he's a bit older, but, you know, that's not a bad thing. Van der Vaart might be interesting. I want to see how cheap they want to give Van der Vaart. Definitely potential to be good right there. I like what I'm seeing from him. He could be that playmaker I'm looking for in the middle. And we got a couple strikers. The Valencia striker, Uche. We'll see if we can get him on the cheap. Jean-Christophe Babacek. I'd definitely bring him in on loan. Strengthen the striker core. Danny Ings I've got in the list as well. We could get him very cheap. But I think I'm going to go with the youngster, even though Ings is pretty young himself. Uche would be nice, but we'll see. There are a few more players we need to further scout before I get into it, but Van der Vaart's going to be the most expensive one out of the group. I wonder what Hamburg's willing to sell for him. Okay, so that's my short list for now. If you guys have any suggestions, like where should I look elsewhere to pick up a player with good, like I said, I want to look for a very young, pacey, prolific striker. I prefer young, maybe a lone player. Goalkeeper, I would like somebody that's, you know, I don't want an 80 goalkeeper. We won't be able to afford it. If we can get one on loan, that'd be great, but I don't think we're going to be able to find one that high for a loan. We'll just have to transfer him in for, and I'd prefer if he was on the last year of his deal. We could probably get him a lot cheaper then. But then again, we still have Gibson trade. I might not pull that trade off until we get Gibson sold. But then his replacement is going to have to be one of those cams. If we sell him for quite a bit, we might be able to get Van der Vaart pretty cheap, and that'd be a good. Might be able to get him for a good deal. So we'll keep our fingers crossed there. All right. Last thing I do want to do is I want to make sure I go through my squad and figure out who needs to be put on a loan, because I do need to put some players on loan. Connor Hunt, he's already on loan. Stanek I won't put on loan just yet. I'll wait, but he'll go on loan probably if I get that backup goalkeeper. Yeah, right back could use some work, but we're fine. Center backs, I'm not too worried. Yeah, I think center backs were good unless we get more injuries left back. I probably can get rid of one of these guys. Garbett I'm going to hold on to. I think it's going to be Galloway, I think. Yeah, he's the lowest rated. We'll send him out on loan because he's young. We can always get these players back too if we really want them. We'll put him on loan. McCarthy, Berry, Bessick, they're fine. McGady, Gibson, Jr., and Ledson. I think I'm going to send Ledson out just because, well, yeah, we'll send Ryan Ledson out. We've got enough depth at the midfield. I mean, not the greatest depth, but we've got some depth. I'll add to the loan list. Pinar, Barkley, Lukaku, Kone. Okay, we're going to get rid of one of our extra strikers, or maybe two. Okay, he's injured, so I can't send him. We got Long and Naismith, McGaney. Alright, Dorf, you are going on loan for the season. And I'll probably send Long as well because he doesn't get any playing time. And that should do it. Yeah, that's where we'll set for loans. Okay. And that should do it, guys. Like I said, if you guys want feedback, you could go to Twitter, tweet me at ISU31 with your suggestions, or you can go to Operation Sports, the forum that it's in. There's links to them on my YouTube page to those sites. You can go there, and on my main page, just look at the little logos at the top right corner and just click on them. And let me know what your thoughts. Who do you think I need to strengthen the squad? Offensively, yeah, we need more goal scorers, but I think my biggest problem's in the midfield right now. Like, I just don't. Barkley's not being the playmaker I need him to be, and I could definitely use a bit more depth. And we're going to lose Gibson probably because he's going to be worth a lot of money. And just kind of keeping in mind what we're going to do. I'm not going to sell. Not going to be in a big mood to spend because we are still in the Europa League. If we were knocked out in the Europa League, I'd probably be reselling to get rebuilding the squad a little bit. I think the back line is going to be okay for now. Eventually, we're going to have to build it up because we're going to have a bunch of old players. Like I said, I want to try to not hire too many old players if I can avoid it. If they are, they better be starters. Alright, so I'm gonna end this episode here. So if you guys didn't get to join me on the live stream, you can watch this on I'll post it to YouTube. So with that being said, this is ISU Reaper 31, and I'm signing off for now.